So Dave, how long have you been in the AV industry?
More years than I care to. I would say I had hair when I started in the industry, but I'm not sure that's true. So I started off in the industry actually with an integrator, with a small local integrator. So I was out on the tools, doing installations, servicing, repairs, also doing scoping and quoting. So I've kind of know the install side better than live events. That said, I have done some live events work as well. I suppose as a side interest there, I'm a musician, I'm a brass player. It's my opportunity to fly the flag for the euphonium.
Yeah.
Not everyone's heard of the euphonium.
I've never heard of it. What is that?
It's also known as the tenor tuba. So it's like a tuba, but it looks like it's shrunk in the wash.
Oh, okay.
And in terms of pitch, it's like the brass band equivalent of the cello.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's a tenor-voiced instrument, very sonorous, lovely, rich sound. Not that I'm biased. And it's particular to brass bands or marching bands. You normally see them in a marching band as well.
Okay.
So my music interests is kind of another part of my audiovisual world, if you like. So as I say, I started off with an integrator, and then from there moved to work for the university in a central AV role, looking after the centrally managed teaching spaces. And then from there, I moved into the business school, where I am now running the AV services there.
Okay. So I know back over in the States, we bring folks from all different backgrounds into the AV industry. Like I know most of the folks on my team come from a broadcasting background, or maybe a couple folks with a music production background.
Yes.
Kind of what does that look like over in your neck of the woods? Is it kind of the same thing? Are people just coming from integrators or other sources? How does that work over there?
Yeah, a variety. I'm thinking about my colleagues that I know across UK higher education. I think definitely, well, one joke is that we're all failed musicians. Maybe not failed. Maybe just we haven't yet made it.
There you go.
That's what it is, isn't it?
There's no failure. There's just keeping on.
Exactly. So that's an aside. I think some people have come in maybe from broadcast with perhaps a specialism in that area, maybe as a sound engineer or vision mixer, and then they've kind of gone into the broader role of audiovisual management. Other areas, as you say, is IT, perhaps from desktop support. And then again, they've kind of recognised maybe the excitement, actually, of the AV industry. And particularly within higher ed, it's very fast-paced, and having that support element and the reactive nature of it, I think that can be quite exciting to people.
It really is. It's never a dull moment, and it's all year long. So
Totally is.
So one thing I've always been curious about is I know whenever we have kind of discussions at our local trade shows or local events, kind of talk about our challenges, things that we have to try to overcome, and support hurdles, technology issues, things like that. I'm kind of curious to hear, what are some of your all's experiences? What challenges do you guys face over here in the Europe area?
Okay. Certainly, speaking for Cambridge, as I kind of alluded to already, we talked about the size of the university and its makeup with our colleges and departments. Now, that's definitely a challenge in terms of audiovisual deployment within the university. One of the first challenges is standardisation and uniformity. So we are in an interesting situation in Cambridge, and I think other collegiate universities are in a similar position to this, where the departments and colleges are quite autonomous. So they tend to do their own thing, and there isn't actually a kind of, for want of a better word, controlling central provision that has kind of oversight or over-management of that service.
Okay.
And I think there is good and bad to that. With the autonomy, you can then perhaps provide a more specialist service for your particular department or discipline. Downsides, and as I say, is perhaps a standardisation for faculty who move between departments. They will get a different experience, whether it be support, whether it be the technology provision, whether it be user interface. There will be a different experience depending on where they go. And yet it's all within the same university.
So I think you basically nailed every single one of the challenges we also have. So I'm glad to see we've got commonalities on going both ways there. So also, I know we kind of talked a little earlier that you're also with LTSMG. So can you kind of familiarize us with what that is over here?
Sure. So I have to think carefully now what LTSMG stands for. So it's the Learning and Teaching Spaces Managers Group.
Okay.
And we're kind of UK centred, and we basically represent technology managers across universities in the UK. Now we've got a little bit of membership outside of the UK, but I say our sort of focus and our centre is the United Kingdom. We've got just shy of 400 members now, which is fantastic.
That's amazing.
And the technology managers are, say, audiovisual managers like myself. We've got space managers. We've got some IT managers. People who've basically got an interest in teaching and learning provision within their university, within their institution. So myself and 3 colleagues from different universities around the country, we kind of oversee the group. So to give them a shout out, there's Adam Harvey at the University of Hertfordshire, Aaron Turlington-Smith at Loughborough University, and Matt North at the University of East Anglia.
Okay.
So we kind of keep the wheels turning. And we also organise our annual events. So we now run 2 events a year. We come together, we've moved the date, but we come together every spring for our annual conference, which is a kind of a 2.5-day gathering at a different university every year. And we have a trade show as part of that, so around about 40 manufacturers. We have an exhibition hall, and they'll have stands like a mini ISE, if you like. And then we also run talks, presentations, panel discussions as part of the conference program related to that, and obviously a couple of great nights out.
That sounds like a blast. And one thing that kind of caught my attention, you said you got facilities managers. I think that's pretty interesting. You're bringing those in as well.
Absolutely.
I know that, kind of my team, we're kind of front and center. So anything that happens in a learning space, we get the call. Like I was looking last night at some of the tickets that had come in while I've been out, and it's the lighting's not working in this room, and the thermostat's set too cold for this room. I'm like, we do nothing of that, but we'll try to find the person that can get that squared away for you. So it's interesting that you guys are also recognizing that it's not just about the technology, it's literally about the entire space itself.
Totally is, and it's not always, like you say, things that plug in or switch on. It's also about the management of the physical space. So at a recent LTSMG live event that we had in December, I was in conversation with a couple of space managers from Hertfordshire and University of East Anglia, and we were talking about how use of space is planned and how that links and feeds into the audio-visual provision. And that's really interesting, because part of that is about getting a really early, we're talking about design and build here, so a really early seat at the table at the architectural stage. So us as AV professionals can feed into that building design and make sure the space is correctly designed alongside, say, VIXA standards in terms of sight lines, viewing distances, audio distribution, those things that are going to matter to the user experience and the consumption of that material.
Okay. I mean, you're taking it from like a holistic approach there. You're looking at the entire space. Yeah. I love it. I love everything about it. So, well, Dave, thank you very much. It's been great. Is there any way you want to get out there that people can get a hold of you? Twitter, LinkedIn?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to find me myself, just search me up, David Amann on LinkedIn. If you want to find me on Twitter, if I remember rightly, I'm Davey AV.
Davey AV? Uh-huh.
Yeah, it'd be great to connect with you guys.
Sounds great.
BC, it's been great to be with you today. Really,
Dave, it's been a pleasure. I've loved every minute of it. Thank you very much, sir.
Cheers, man.
Appreciate it. Cheers.
Cheers.